everyone, today's video is going to be basically how me and Jesse started. For having this relationship going 3 years strong, I think that it's good to kind of start from when we started to maybe give you guys maybe an idea of how unique way how a relationship works, rather than kind of starting off from when two people meet each other, suddenly everything kind of just turns intimate, whereas we were friends starting beforehand.
I think we're definitely in a unique relationship, but it's a good one.
We'll start off from in high school. He was new to the school and I was already in the school district. I had a group of friends that I had stuck with since elementary school, hung out with them all the way through sophomore year.
So I came from out of school district, back into a new school district, new school. Didn't really know anyone there. I may have known like one or two people, but I wasn't even friends with them. Probably the first maybe month I was kind of on my own and didn't really talk to people at breaks and stuff, until one day I was kind of walking around trying to find a new place to hang out. Someone I had class with invited me over and to come sit with them. They were with this great big group of friends, and part of that group was her, and it was kind of cool because I came into that group and kind of just made friends with everyone there. So that's where we met.
I wasn't really close with everybody in the group. I think I was friends with maybe 4 people who I was pretty close with. Just meeting around with new people that I didn't know of, and they were introduced to the group. I was, oh hi, I'm so and so. I didn't have classes with very many people. There was maybe a few of them. I know that I never had a class with you.
Yeah.
That was pretty much how we were introduced, was friends introducing people from their classes and stuff. So it was fairly new to him, and just meeting a whole bunch of different people. What kind of really made us an initiate to have a conversation was probably when hanging out in the front office of the campus. After school, you had to stay a few hours.
I usually had to stay for at least 2 hours after school before I would get picked up. Yeah. So I kind of just, after school, would hang out with whoever was there until they left. And I was always the last person. And then I ended up waiting by the front office and found that she would wait there sometimes.
I think I was the first one who approached you, somebody from the group. I was by myself. I wouldn't typically picked up pretty late. School got out around 2:45-ish. I would wait there for at least 45 minutes because I would get picked up around 3:30. That, or I had sports. For instance, I was in fall sports like tennis, and then for spring I was in swimming. But I think it was during the winter time when I wasn't involved in any sport. I picked up in the front office. I saw him there, and then we kind of just, I would say that we probably talked more after school.
We didn't talk all too often, when we were hanging out with the group at lunch, because there's just a lot of people, and you had friends that you would typically chat with after school, and I was just waiting. We'd occasionally talk if we were both there.
There was a Sadies Dance. I was gonna ask someone to the Sadies Dance. I didn't really have a lot of guy friends in mind, not somebody who I really talked to as much, and so I was kind of drawing up from the very few people who I would talk to. Ultimately, I asked him first, and he said yes, which I was pretty surprised. I thought originally he might have been asked out by someone else, but I didn't know, so I just took a chance. And it was literally 2 days before Sadies was actually happening.
Yeah, it was pretty
so it was pretty
late,
minute. But I really wanted to go because I never had been to a school dance before, and to take a step for myself. I asked him and he said yes, and then he ended up buying the tickets. But
well, no, I bought the tickets, and then I get ambushed after school by a mutual friend who's trying to give me money from her.
Yeah.
So she ended up paying for her ticket.
Yeah. So I did give the money back. It's only right that I paid the tickets. Last minute trying to figure out what theme we wanted to go, and it was actually a Hawaiian theme, I believe.
Luau theme. I had my Hawaiian shirts, all my dad's shirts, so I wore one of his Hawaiian shirts, and we decided on purple as our color.
A dress, and we exchanged leis.
Yeah, so she got me a lei, and then because I'm Hawaiian, my mom used to hand make leis. So my mom gave me one of her leis she made to gift to her. Yeah, it's right over there. And then we went to the dance, and it was just kind of us, and then we hung out at the dance with a couple that was friends with me.
We got Panera bread, and originally thinking about Chipotle.
So we went to Panera, my mom drove us, and then we went to the dance, and then afterwards your dad picked us up.
Yeah.
Didn't we go to Jamba Juice?
I don't think so. I think we went
It was
to Starbucks.
a different time? Okay.
We went to Starbucks. Hang out for a bit, and then we took off from there. And then the upcoming week, because Sadie's it happened on Saturday, so it was on a weekend. So when we got back to school, I remember this. He doesn't really remember. Our friends were like, oh, so since you guys went to the dance together, you guys kind of a thing? I don't know if you saw that, but...
I didn't see that. For me, like, the dance was a lot of fun, but it seemed like it wasn't that special to you. It was what I felt afterwards. So we're just friends at that point.
Now we're moving things too fast. It wasn't that close yet because I think I still was trying to get to know him. Characteristics that I saw from him: he's a gentleman. Oh, he's a honor roll student. He's really nice, and I was just trying to figure him out a little bit more. Of course, we still had our own crushes on other people. Being honest, you know, we're still young. We're still figuring things out.
I think we were still trying to figure out what type of people we liked, and we still didn't know that much about each other.
Yeah.
So we had talked, occasionally, but not a ton in depth.
I kind of distanced myself from the group a bit. I started hanging out with my friend Lizette, and she was one of my best friends. We would hang out together, and then soon enough, some other people had left the group, and we started hanging out with them. And then probably near the end of the semester, Jesse and some of his friends hung out.
That way, it was like halfway through, or like a quarter of the way through sophomore year, the group started breaking up a little bit. After you left, I went and was hanging out with my other group of friends that included the couple that we went to Sadies with. I was hanging out with them almost exclusively at that time.
I found out that I was moving probably in the month of March. Some of my close friends were trying to get together as possible. We did hang out one time.
This is the second time I had one over to her house, but before the movie, we were going with a guy and a girl that she knew, and she said that she had introduced me as her older brother.
At that time, with this other guy, I wanted to try something because I never had been in a relationship before. First time that somebody has actual interest. He was actually sitting in between us.
I was still making plays, even though she broke my heart.
Well, the thing is, I didn't really know how you felt towards me. I thought you were just thinking of it as friends, so I didn't really think anything more. I just considered him like a brother. There was nothing intimate at the time. That's the only reason. So I just pictured him as a nice older brother. And later on, when I found out I was moving, I had let him know about it. I don't know how you felt towards it, but I started hanging out by the orchestra department when school was over because I don't think I got picked up at the front office anymore, but I saw him there a few times. We didn't really talk very much. Nothing negative between us. I think it was just hanging out with their own friends, and we didn't really talk as much. Summertime, I was getting ready to move in the middle of July. I was gonna be going back into town for a visit in October. Contacted him, and then I contacted two of our other friends, Megan and Bree. We all hung out together. It was a pretty good day.
Yeah, I was going to watch the movies. I went to the mall.
So we watched the movie, and we were hanging out at an outdoor mall. I remember we were all holding hands at one point.
That was a river park.
And then a couple months went by. I was gonna have confirmation, so I was gonna go back to town for that. Contacted him again. Once in a great while, he would message me about like, holidays.
Yeah, I just like to send out greetings on holidays to all my friends.
In March, we were planning on getting together again, hanging out at the school after lunch, and I was in his class. After that, got a ride from your stepdad. We hung out at the
Same
mall.
friends, hung out at the mall, watched another movie.
And soon enough they left, and it was just us two. My dad was gonna pick me up because we were gonna get together with our comadres, second cousins on my end because it was my dad's cousin. We were getting together with them, and they were visiting in town for my confirmation. We got to go get pizza. My sister met up with us, and then I think some of our family friends were there too. And then later in the night we went to go to David Buster's.
What happened was they had planned to go do all this, and she was just going to get picked up from the mall and go do all this. My parents were busy, so when your dad picked you up, he offered to take me with you guys.
Yeah, he would have waited kind of.
Yeah, I was going to like have to wait for an hour or so for my parents to pick me up. He offered to go ahead and take me with him, so we went, got pizza, went to Dave & Buster's. I got to meet like her whole family at this point. Because I had never met Raven before.
Yeah. It was fun though.
Yeah, basically ended up hanging out from like lunchtime till midnight.
Yeah, so it was a total like 12 hours. I remember talking about this.
We just texted occasionally at that point. The year that you were gone, I went on a couple different school dances with other people. And then when prom came around, a friend invited me to go with her to prom because her boyfriend wasn't going to take her. A week later, I get a text from, and you were asking me, I could take you to prom because your parents said if you had a date, you could go to the prom.
We had to have a date. Wanted to have a dance with friends. The only guy I really had in mind was him.
One by default.
No, he was one of my good friends. There was maybe like one other person who I thought about, but he was already taken, or he already asked somebody. I asked him, and he said that he had a friend who had asked him already, but then he said that maybe he can ask her if it was gonna be okay, and it turned out that she said yeah.
Like I said, she already had a boyfriend, so we're just going to be friends, so she didn't mind that I brought her as well. I had 2 girls, so
she had a boyfriend, but I guess her boyfriend didn't want to go to the dance with her, so.
Yeah.
About the dance, we were hanging out with our group of friends. We went to go to Old Spaghetti Factory, and I was hanging out with my best friend Bree, and she was my ride. We had 3 separate cars.
It was a decent sized group, so we had 3
Nobody
or 4
was
cars.
driving at the time.
Yeah, this is junior year.
Everybody was getting carpooled with their parents. We took pictures right by the restaurant because we hadn't taken pictures. After dinner, we headed to the dance. We had taken our pictures, and we had taken the group picture. The picture that we took together, I was barefoot, and I think like one of my bra straps was showing. I had a pretty nice tan line at the time because I was doing swimming. I was okay.
She was definitely attractive.
Oh, okay. No, not looking bad yourself.
My suit, I had my hair slicked back.
Yes, this is when he had the hair bun.
I had my man bun, so I slicked it back for the night.
From our first videos, he still had the man bun. Pretty much right before you entered into senior year.
It was right at the beginning of the senior year because I dyed my hair like a week before school started, and they said chop it off. It was kind of just hanging out because we had a big group.
I think like right when they announced Prom King and Queen.
Yeah, after the Prom King and Queen, it was the first slow dance that they played. When the first slow dance came, I went to her and asked if she would like to dance.
I was talking to some of my upper class friends, so I was a junior. While I was talking to them, he had asked me about that. They looked at me.
I think the slow dance is where we both kind of realized, like, oh, or at least for me, I realized, oh, she's really attractive and she seems really sweet. There was that spark up in it, so it was kind of funny while we were dancing. I think you had your shoes off at this point, so I was able to actually put my head on my chin on her head. And I looked past her, and behind her, one of her friends is mouthing "kiss her." I've never told you this. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Why did you tell me? Wait, what? Which friend? Do you remember what she looked like?
Alex. Shelly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because he was with one of my best friends, Nicole.
Got a couple looks too from a couple other friends.
I remember it was Emily, one of his friends' dates. They were looking back at us. In a way, it was just kind of, even though everything was kind of moving fast all at once, so a lot of things were kind of going through my head, and I'm pretty sure at his head too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I would have wanted to kiss you, but I didn't. I definitely didn't want to rush anything. Just enjoying the dance. We danced for the song and probably half of the next song.
We just like go looking back at each other, smiling.
After that, you had to leave a little bit early from the dance.
Or no, I think we decided to. Most of the group did, because I think like, some people weren't feeling well or something.
I guess, yeah. Oh yeah, that was right. So I stayed at the dance basically until it ended with a couple other people. And then we all went and met up for ice cream. And kind of at that point, my mom commented that I was standing really close to her at the ice cream parlor.
That was when we had to say our goodbyes, because after we were done eating, I was gonna go home the next day. I was staying at my sister's, I think, that night. I was telling my friend Bree about it, and I was telling my sister. I think it was bound to happen, like the right time for it to kind of go on. When I went home, I think you were texting me probably in the middle of the day when I was heading back.
Yeah.
Just wishing me a safe trip back. Good luck on AP classes because we had it.
It was AP tests were coming up. Yeah, at that point it was just definitely, you were stuck in my mind.
Texted each other pretty much every night at that point until like he had asked me, because I remember he asked me like around 8:30 in that night.
It was kind of just texting each night.
Beforehand he was asking one of our friends, and he was also asking one of his guy friends, how should I ask her?
It kind of just came to a night where I was like, I've been thinking about her and texting her exclusively for almost a week at this point. I was like, and couldn't stop thinking about the dance. So I was like, you know what, I think I really like her and I need to at least take a chance, because I'd never asked out a girl before other than to like school dances.
I was surprised when he told me I was his first girlfriend.
And I just ended up through text asking her if we could be more than friends.
I obviously didn't say no. I was pretty excited at the moment. I think my mom came in at some point or something. It's like, oh my god. I'm like fangirling, I guess. Yeah, I feel the same way.
We looked at that we were planning a trip that I was going to come up with a couple of her friends to come visit her. And that was, we started planning that just before I ended up asking her.
Yeah.
So that was our first kind of like, I think it was a weekend or a week.
Yeah, it was like 4 days.
It was like a long weekend, and that was like my first time up here. That was my first time with her as my girlfriend.
I didn't have our first kiss until, I think it was the weekend after that, actually, when he came up to visit with our friends. After they had left, I had to go to a camp, and I was there for a whole week, and he was taking care of my social medias. How much trust you and your mom and stepdad were coming.
We had to up north to meet a friend, and then we ended up planning to kind of meet halfway at Bodega Bay.
Pretty much met my family.
Yeah, so at that point I had met most of your family, and we had our first kiss on Goat's Head Rock.
We would visit each other when we could. He'd visit me more often just because...
Basically, I'd skip school and take the Amtrak and come up to spend a weekend with her.
I would visit when there was school dances.
She'd come down and
But
did all our school dances together.
The only time I had to take the train was the first time that I went to prom. It's been like this kind of back and forth visiting each other. There's actually been weeks, well, the longest time we spent together was about almost 3 weeks, I think.
3 weeks almost. I think a day under 3 weeks.
Even though it's been long distance for 3 years, if it's meant to be, we're gonna be closer. With this challenge, I think hopefully we can overcome anything else that tries to go through.
I'm gonna say, after 3 years, we made it work so far. I'm pretty confident in it.
I just thought that we'd talk about kind of how we started, because I think that, like I mentioned earlier in the video, some people just kind of meet somebody and they, I don't know, love at first sight kind of. Sometimes it doesn't always work out that way because you kind of get to know the person as you're going on in the relationship, but that was also kind of like us too. We kind of, since we were friends before, we were just getting to know each other more. With his qualities, I really liked, and with me, I'm surprised he really liked.
Of course,
so thankful to still have him in my life, because honestly, I don't know what I would picture without him. So I'm very lucky to have him. More adventures together, more memories. I'm kind of scared for what the future kind of brings, but I just hope that things work out and put into place so where they're meant to be.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have her, so.
Thanks. I'm just glad we could do this, and I hope you guys enjoy and look forward to more videos.
It was fun.
So,
Thanks for watching.
yeah.